Hello. We are back 2 minutes late, 2 minutes tardy from today's midday mindset shift. So I apologize for keeping you guys waiting. I have just been having an invigorating morning and messy hair, don't care, showing up anyway, right? All good. So I'm really excited about what I've decided to talk to you guys about this afternoon for you East Coasters. And this, let's see, here we go. There we are. And this morning still for those of you who are on the West Coast. So cool. Here we are. Awesome. So it's about not giving up. It's about keep going. And this kind of tags along with what we were talking about last midday mindset shift about how to keep going. Actually, this was part of our free coaching. A very bright young lady asked a really awesome question about how to stay motivated, but we did talk about it in the last mindset shift about Jedi mind trick, right? Keeping motivated, just do it. So there is a true story, and we can all probably relate to this. Hey, Jessica. Hey, girl. Thanks for showing up. How often, they say hindsight's 20/20, right? How often have you quit too early? Where you have given up on something only to find out in hindsight just how close you actually were. Now, for those of you who've been hanging out with me for a while, you know that I'm a big fan of, affirmations and mindsets, but I'm also a really big fan of little love notes to yourself, whether it be timed notes that pop up on your phone that come up here and there as like little alarms, little reminders, or whether they're sticky notes or notes on your calendar or notes on whiteboards throughout the house. I also love oracle cards and a beautiful deck that I reference all the time. I've got 2 decks from Danielle Laporte, which I don't think she makes anymore. And then I also don't think Sarah Prout makes them anymore. But they're universe cards, but I reference them all the time. They're very beautiful and I love them. You're so close. How many times have you given up or been about to give up and you had no idea? And that's why we give up, right? We give up because we can't see the end in sight. We don't know how far away the finish line actually is. Well, that's life. And that's part of the beauty of life, is that we don't know. Things can get worse, but they can also get so much better. They can get infinitely better. And isn't it a heck of a lot more fun to carry with you the possibility that things can get better than worse? Now, we can go along with, hey, Callan. Awesome. Cool. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the love, guys. We can take this from a very simplistic, video games, right? Oh, you're so close. Well, at least with that, sometimes you've got the little meter that shows how far away you are. But then, you can take with other things. It's great when you can track things to see just how far you are. But when it comes to life, you can't really track things. With this quarantine, we can't really track it. With relationships, we can't really track those. So how do you handle things that you can't really track, that you can't really monitor? PMA, my friends, positive mental attitude. And for all of you who think punk rock and that whole genre is full of angry, angsty, there's a lot of angst, I'm not going to lie. But that's where I first heard about PMA, positive mental attitude. That came from my punk rock friends. So Susie, Steve, hey guys, thanks for being here. So what do I mean by using that? How can you use positive mental attitude to track things? Well, you can't exactly track it, but you can use it to keep motivating. You can use it to keep pushing forward. And writing yourself these little love notes of "you're so close" is such a great reminder. So I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, and I fell in love with New York City. Whether it was from a TV show or a movie, can't quite put my finger on it, but I knew I had to live in New York City from a very young age. I first visited New York City in the 6th grade. It was a 6th grade music or band trip, I think it was. And we went to go see, I believe it was Phantom of the Opera. And we had this whole weekend, and I just fell in love. I was already in love with the city, and that confirmed it. Like, I was meant to be there. It has always been the city of possibility for me and it still is, because at any given moment, you can turn the corner and you have no idea what's around the next corner. Maybe it was the romantic in me that got my head up in the clouds, and I could turn around the corner and literally run into my soulmate, or I could run into the next employer of the job of my dreams. Yes, I love rom-coms. I love sitcoms. Great. But I mean, it's literally the city of possibility. And that's what let my little girl dreams just flourish. But what's to say that New York City is the only place that can happen? What's to say San Francisco or LA? Why can't, Piedmont, North Dakota be that for you? Why can't, Nunde, New York be that for you? Everything can be that for you. You just have to find a way to make it like that. So leaving yourself little love notes like this, little reminders of "you're so close." Personally, you've got this. Keep going. Motivational stuff like that doesn't really resonate with me. And even "you're so close" might not resonate with you. It's different for each person. So you have to discover what actually works for you. And something deeper than that is that motivation is topical. And unless it's something that deeply resonates, it's just going to slide off, right? It's temporary. It gets you revved up and it gets you going, but then it doesn't sustain. So that's where you have to start programming these neurological pathways. Hey, Melissa, thanks for being here, right? You have to start conditioning. And that's why keeping these subliminal messages everywhere, not just looking at them once a day, but literally keeping them around your house, keeping them around your apartment where you're going to see them, whether you are actively looking at them or not. I talked before in a previous episode about setting the alarm on your phone and having it on your phone say these little mantras, say these little things, because even if you ignore them because by this time you already know what it's going to say. Like initially the alarm will go off and you're just like, oh, I got it. Oh, it's that. And you'll just be like you get excited, like, oh, maybe it's the text from that somebody. And oh, it's not that somebody. But you read it, even if you just glance at it, your subconscious sees the whole message. And when it conditions to the point of the alarm goes off, you don't even have to look at it. Oh, 2:00, I know exactly. It's the alarm that says blah, blah, blah. It's sinking in. It's how you condition yourself. And you can do this with anything, with calling in your soulmate, calling in better wealth consciousness, conditioning yourself to be more flexible, to heal yourself. You want to think, well, that's what I'm doing with healing my injuries from my car accident with all these other things? That's the power of the brain. That's the power of positivity. That's the power of PMA, positive mental attitude, guys. It's the subliminal programming, creating these new neurological pathways. So you find what works for you. And guys, it takes anywhere from 3 to 6 weeks for things to become habit, for things to start sinking in. So looking at things once or twice and just giving it a shot, not necessarily going to work with it. And I'd like to share this true story with you. I didn't have a chance to look it up, but you can look it up. I went on a tour a couple of years ago, out here in Nevada, I went to the oldest silver mine in Nevada. And so they took us on a tour of like the mine and out and around the areas and stuff. And there was, I don't remember the names of the people, so I apologize, but there was this guy, he came out to Nevada, he was mining and going at it, and he had invested, he like had all of his kinfolk come out and like, hey guys, we're gonna strike gold or silver, whatever, like let's do this, yeah. And he invested like his life savings into all this equipment, like let's go. And of course, back in those days, they didn't have all the subterranean monitoring, they didn't have the technology to be able to locate where and how to find the veins and whatnot. And yes, they had figured out how to do it, but they didn't know. They just went at it, right? And they had a little success here, and they got a little taste of success there, and that's why it was kind of like my all-time favorite Dr. Seuss story, The Lorax. Like, hey, we found more truffula trees. Bring the whole family. There's a gold mine here, or in this case, silver. Like, hey, let's just set up shop and go. Well, they tap the resources and they're like, oh my gosh, we are running out of resources and we're not making the return on investment. Like, holy crap, we can't keep this up anymore. We can't keep this up. And they're like, you know what? We tapped out of our resources. We can't keep going. And the guy put his equipment up for auction, for sale. And this other dude came along and, hey, Christina, hey, Erica. And this guy knew a little bit about mining, didn't really know about the equipment or anything, but he was like, you know what? Let me give this a shot. And the guy who sold him equipment was like, dude, I was out there for months. There's nothing out there. Like, why do you think I'm selling this? Other than the fact that I'm completely broke because I wasted all my money on this equipment and the manpower, and I'm done. Like, but I need the money, so go ahead, buy the equipment. And he sold the equipment for like dirt cheap because he just had to get rid of it. This guy goes out, same site that he was digging at. And I want to say it was like a day. 3 feet. If that guy had gone 3 more feet, he would have struck the biggest vein that mine had. 3 feet. Hey, Teddy, thanks for being here. I'm glad you caught the live. You don't know how far away you are. That's why you can't ever give up. So whether it's a fitness goal, whether it's a relationship goal, whether it's a scholastic goal, a career goal, or maybe it's just getting a hang on your sanity and life and not sure if you can make it through another day. You're so close. You have no idea how close you really are. And if you don't make it there today, you might make it there tomorrow. And okay, so there's a chance you might not make it there tomorrow. But there's a chance you might. 3 feet, guys. 3 feet. Now, I have loved ones that are going through relationship issues right now. Depression is real. And it hurts physically, in addition to emotionally and mentally and spiritually. And I was having a conversation with one of them, and they're married, and he said, I'll wait a lifetime. That's what I vowed. Hey, Derek. Hey, Rob. Thanks for being here. He said, I'll wait a lifetime. Absolutely. She's my everything. And then a couple lines of text conversation later, he said, I'm going crazy. I don't know how much more of this I can take. And I said, well, hang on. Is a year a lifetime? He said, well, no, of course not. I go, well, how long is a lifetime? And he said, well, for her, a lifetime is a lifetime. I said, okay. But for something else, maybe a lifetime might not be a lifetime. It's like, well, I go, I get that circumstances can make things seem a hell of a lot longer than they actually are. You know, a watch pot never boils, which actually scientifically has been proven at a very molecular level. I actually listened to a talk. It was probably very boring. I found it fascinating. Hello again. I'm back. But true story, a watch pot does not, in fact, actually boil. But stop staring at the clock. There's always some way, someone you can talk to. There's always something you can do. There's a way that you can turn this, I don't say negative in a bad way, but I say it as in the opposite of positive and the opposite of productive. This downward feeling blue, sad, unproductive energy. There's a way that you can actually turn that into productive energy. You know, I advised him like, okay, how can we make this constructive? How about in the meantime, let's turn you into the super version of you. Let's make you stronger. Let's make you, better, stronger physically, mentally. Like, what can you do? How can you channel this energy? You know, a lot of people like to take their rage and their anger and then their hurt and their pain, and they like to work it out in the gym. Okay, you don't have a gym right now. What are ways that you can still work out and channel the energy, put it into productive energy? You know, there's different ways. And when you just keep that mantra, you're so close. You're so close. Giving up? Yes, there are definitely reasons and moments and times where you have to set that healthy boundaries and get real with yourself and realize, is it time to sever ties? And how can I do it lovingly? But you also have to get real with yourself and ask yourself, have I looked at it from every angle? Have I exhausted every option? And when you say a lifetime, and then you say it's only been a couple of months and it feels like a lifetime, you have to get real with yourself. Is a lifetime really a lifetime? Or is it only a couple of months? And what do you mean? A lifetime, in this day and age, 80 plus years. And I've just read some tragic stories about 15-year-olds taking their own lives because they can't handle what's going on right now. And who knows? I mean, is it likely that quarantine is to be lifted tomorrow or the end of this month? No. But miracles happen? Could it happen? Yes. But even if it didn't happen, there are other ways that we can be there for each other. There are other ways that we can see through and be productive and find things that light us up and discover new possibilities. And to have these little reminders around you daily, both consciously and subconsciously, like, you're so close. Whatever works for you. For me, you're so close actually really works for me. Keep going. You're almost there. Or even just 3 feet. If that story, for me, I really like stories that I can draw a personal anecdote from that story. And so when I first heard that for a couple of years, I actually had, I had a little, I bought from the gift shop. I actually bought some of the pieces of like little silver stuff. And I had that around because every time I looked at those pieces of silver, that reminded me of the 3 feet story. Keep going, keep going, keep going. So maybe you could actually write 3 feet, or maybe you could have a piece of silver, or maybe somebody with a success story or an overcoming adversity type of story that inspires you. Think of something like that. Whatever works for you. It doesn't have to be my story. It doesn't have to be You're So Close. But the moral of this, for your midday mindset to pick up and give you that vroom, refresh, that reset, is to remember that so many times, and this is why businesses fail. This is like, I don't know the exact statistics, so I can't speak on it, but so the majority of businesses and people fail just before the finish line, just before they reach the goal, because they don't know. If you could track it, amazing. Then you could push yourself a little further. You don't know how capable and strong you actually are until you push yourself, until you really are faced with odds. And even then, you're stronger than you think you are. Your brain takes over and says, I can't do this. Then you tell your ego to shut up because you only are using 26% of your brain, and the rest of your brain can then take over and be like, shut up, ego, I got this. Oh, yes, I can. You totally can. I totally believe in you. And if you feel like you have no one else to talk to, you want to dig deep and find out how you can overcome whatever it is. If you feel like you're at the end of your rope and you're not anywhere close, I'm available. I'm sure you know someone else who's available. If not, I'm raising my hand right here. I'm happy to talk to you. Hit me up. We'll do a clarity call. We'll get you so close. Anyway, that's my time, guys. Thank you so much for being here. And as always, cuff in your elbow, wash your hands, and stay the home. I'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early for Rise and Shine, 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Mwah! Bye, y'all.